the Panasonic Variacam, which I've been using a lot lately. Not the little cameras, the real big ones. And I know what I'm seeing lately, a lot of these small cameras, I can't use them. And the reason is when a guy's spending $150,000 for a commercial, I can't look like I'm shooting a wedding or a bar mitzvah. I go out there with a 5-ton truck, generators, Winnebagers, and I get this little camera out of my attaché case. Though the images look good, and I will experiment with it for B-roll footage. So that's what we do. We're out of Miami. We shoot all over the country. 90% of my business comes in off the internet, which is amazing to me. We don't make cold calls anymore. I'll just tell you a little about how we get our business. We spend a lot of money with Google and Yahoo and stay on top of that every single day. We have 75 keywords that keep us in the top 8. And that's where our business comes from. I'm amazed by it, just amazed. We do very little locally, because I think we're overqualified for. I've seen this market change. I started my company in 1975. We used to do work for a lot of ad agencies down here and whatever. And
for him to move from 35 millimeters to HD video represents a cost reduction and a more effective way to produce the programs. For a broadcaster to start broadcasting their current soccer game, 7-camera soccer game, Saturday soccer game, and move it to HD, it might represent, 5 times the investment they did initially. So I think what we need to think is, and in terms of thinking what's driving the shift to HD, is what is compelling content and what we need to see in HD, and what is the first type of content that we need to bring to our customers. I am not going to argue the need to have commercials finished in the best of the qualities, because as old general manager said to me on a TV station, we are in the business of putting commercials on the air with stuff in the middle. So, but many stations here locally and some of the networks are shifting their programming to HD, and the benefits that they're extracting from those experiences, other than big invoices and big investments, are in many cases a mixed bag of results. For example, and as a customer of HD, as having the possibility of living here in Miami, watching constantly HD, do I care about the first time that I saw my current newscast, the Channel 10 newscast, in HD, I practically at the first moment noticed that the anchor was about 10 years older than what I thought he was. And that was my first impression. By the minute number 3, all this first impression of looking at a 1080i resolution image was gone for me. It's not really, that compelling. Now, local stations here in the US are investing in going to HD in order to differentiate themselves. Just like they invest, it's the same kind of investment they do when they hire the super duper Doppler radar Viper, with the ability of pinpoint lighting in their house. I think it's the same type of concept. One has a super duper, the other has a super Viper deeper, and that's how they compete here in terms of weather. So a talking head, a show like 60 Minutes, or a show like just a regular talk show done in HD, is that compelling? Is not going to last? That deserve for a broadcaster to take a look and invest another $2-3 million in their studio? I don't think. I think we in the Caribbean, our region, we still have a ways to go in terms of regulation and in terms of when are we going to be needing to think in digital transmission. By the way, there's a fundamental difference, and there's really no relationship between HD and digital transmission. Yes. There's no mandate, and that we're clear. And here in the US, they'll have a mandate to go digital in February of 2009, and has nothing to do with their ability of broadcasting HD. For us, cable customers, we will never know that something happened. There's material who's being done in HD and down convert, and material like that. Because sports is content that when it's taken in HD really makes a difference, and as an audience member, it doesn't get boring. It is, either you're watching soccer games, and either you're watching basketball games, either you're watching football games. The difference between the amount of information that we get in HD, either if we're doing 1080i or we're doing 720p, 2 different formats, one better spatial resolution, the other one better temporal resolution. So in 720p, we're doing 60 frames, and they're all progressive. So when you're looking at sports, you really see the difference. When you're looking at talking heads, 1080i looks the better, but it's still interlaced. So the less movement, the better that it looks. when you're doing sports, I think there's where for a broadcaster will make the difference. Many of our customers have some experiences in Latin America in terms of HD and transfer to HD and initial experimentation with low power transmitters in several cities like Guatemala, Peru, had to do with the World Cup of soccer in 2006. Since it was broadcasted in HD, they got to finance from people like LG or Samsung, you know, to pony up the money on the front and buy transmitter and have an experience in order just to sell more plasmas and to sell more LCDs into the market. That's an experience where we can see if there's an opportunity like that where we can bring content like sports, and sports last. I mean, once you see a soccer game and then you see 25 to 30% more of the pitch and the quality of the signals like that, then you gotta go to your old 20-inch TV that you bought 12 years ago. It really gets, I mean, you're like looking real player on a computer again. So
the fact of the matter is though, because technology has changed so rapidly, I mean, every week it's something new. Hope no Panasonic is in here. Anybody Panasonic? But I mean, if you even just use what Sony is doing, I mean, in the next month or so, in the $3,000 to $7,000 range, they're going to have about 4 or 5 different cameras. And what that's really meaning is the independent producer has a range of options at a low price and can have what is called HD, depending on the camera that you buy.